Hello there, this is Ron Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Being select in a niche. Now check this out, right? Of course I talk about the whole Mr. Goodbar or Mass Man, select guys in general. But a reality is, no matter who the man is, no matter how much charisma he got, no matter how handsome he has, no matter how much money he has, no matter how much popularity, there are just some people he's not going to be select with. And then again, there's some guys who might, they might look like Joe Nerd in something, be called, they can be in the general population and people will say, oh, you just uncool. But then they get in their little niche, they get in their little social circle, their subculture, they the best thing since sliced bread. And one of the things men have to understand, just because one group of women really see you as non-select, don't mean the next group will see you that way. Let me use an example. Like in those more, I would say, black alternative communities, like people on like the whole, what people call the Hotep communities or Afro-punk communities or something like that, or even like the growing black nerd communities, right? You get somebody, now you get some people in there, you put them out in like the mainstream, right? And I'm using Black America as an example just because I'm more familiar with it, but this goes across any group, really. This goes, just to let people know, this goes across any group, but you get some people who, in general, they're social outcasts. But then they get with people who are like-minded, who gonna dress the same, who have the same interests and stuff. And all of a sudden, they the man. Like I've seen some men, right? And like I brought up the Hotep community, right? I've seen plenty of men who, if you put them with some mainstream, say some black church going, working corporate America or, something like that, and they can't deal. But you put them like at that poetry reading, got their incense hanging out their locks. And, they talking either conspiracy or some deep metaphysics or something. All of a sudden, they the man. And I've seen that happen with a lot of men. But you take them out of that environment and it's like they just straight dorks. Because they can change, as a fellow writer once said. He's like, shoot, you can be alpha in one area, then you move to someplace else and your ass is gamma. There's a whole thing. And some dudes have even noticed this going back and forth, even changing cities. There's been some dudes, they might start off in one city, they ain't nothing. They ain't getting to play, nothing. Then they make that move to another city and all of a sudden they the hottest thing. I remember, Rom got a story. I remember back in, when I started college, right? Now, the way I would dress and stuff was normal in D.C., right? Normal at my high school. I was rocking polos and all of that shit, right? And, dressing, well, I ain't think of it as fly, just normal, right? But then I remember when I went to college and I ran into this young lady and she was like, damn, you just dress so fly. These guys around here don't dress fly, right? I was like, oh, shit. And I just changed the environment. Now it wasn't like I wasn't getting played before, but then it was a different type of play I was getting. All of a sudden I was like the flyest dresser. And it was like, oh, okay, I like that. But I just changed the niche. See, what a man has to do, especially men who are generally, they see themselves as non-select, think about who you hanging around. Think about what groups you're dealing with. Now, whatever group you in, you might want to keep dealing with them or in their environment. I don't know. Can't really help you there. But you want to still change that. You know, you still might want to change that if you want to have more success with women. Because, and this is something I've even talked with women about this. Even wrote a blog, if I can remember which one, I'll link it. I've written so much now. But, you know, because I've known some women, like I've known some young ladies, not known, I actually know them right now, could text them right this second, right? You know, if a dude gonna mess with them, like one, the dude, he don't have to so much be in a church, but he gotta be on some like goody stuff. She don't mess with no thugs. If the dude even present like a thug, she don't mess with him. And I seen it like, you know, she's, you know, that dude gotta be clean cut. I seen her get wet for clean cut dudes. But see, that's kind of like her, that's kind of where she at. So a dude who can appeal to that, got that kind of look, appeals to women like her. Now she kind of like on that more serious tip, you know, about her education and shit. More, you know, she ain't ratchet at all. You know, got a little bit of religion in her, right? And then, you know, there's another young lady I know, if your ass ain't up in church about 5 times a week, she ain't messing with you. So if a dude is more on that church tip, the church boy thing, shoot, you can get over it. And some dudes didn't know that. Some dudes, I always say, if I want to like find some bunch of players, I just go to a relatively large church and just like sit back and watch. And there's some players out there, shoot, they know, they get those church women. They invite him over for that Bible study. He said, baby, let's just come on over. Let's Bible study and chill. Yeah. Damn, I might have put a new phrase out there. But y'all shoot. Y'all know. And then, of course, you get some people, they might be on that more ratchet shit. So, dude gotta be ratchet. I mean, that's what we see. But there's several, like I said, there's several subcultures out there. There's several groups, several niches, right? Like, remember I lived in this apartment building. It was this real fine sister. Good Lord, she was fine. But she was on that, she was part of that, black elite, black upper class, right? Like, family was probably boule. And black people know what I'm talking about when I say boule, right? I remember a bunch of us, we were checking out, we saw the dude she got with, he was, I hate to use this word, but it was the most appropriate word. We just saw him as a lame. Yeah. You know, we ain't not even a classic man, a lame. We just like, what the fuck? But he was in her social circle. He was in her niche. You know, and so, you know, type of dude he was, especially when I saw her parents and her father especially, I said, you know what, that dude was just right for her. You know, and people, one thing a man has to realize on a cold-blooded tip, you know, men are hunters. You gotta know where to hunt. You know, if you hunting prey to slay, you know, you can't hunt where there's no watering hole where animals ain't gonna come around. So a man gotta learn first, know himself to know where he fits in. Find where he fit in, then find the type of women he needs to deal with are going to fit in. All right, you know, if he the type of cat, he needs to deal with, say, like women from the Caribbean or Africa or something like that. Well, shoot, he either need to find the churches that cater to that or the clubs in the area that cater to that. Depending on where you are, it's easy or it could be hard. You know, when I was in the D.C. area, shoot, there were plenty of clubs either catering to, because you have sizable Caribbean populations and sizable African populations. So it was easy to find if you wanted to go there for that. And that's another thing. Like I said earlier, you might have to move around for it. But it's all about finding a group that's going to celebrate you. You know, instead of beating your head with a group who's not going to celebrate you. Find that group who's going to see you as Mr. Goodbar. Because all men, and this is why I always say I don't like using that term alpha and beta, because every single man is an alpha to somebody. He has to find who he's an alpha to. Now, if he find out he's a beta to some woman, he really shouldn't mess with it. That tells him there. And sometimes a man, really, to deal with a particular niche or subculture, whatever, he might have to look at himself and question where his life is going. Because sometimes a man gets stuck and you say, well, this is what I want to deal with. Well, these are women you need to deal with. You know, if you that dude, you part of like some hardcore religious sect, you know, messing with a bunch of women at the club might not work for you, bro. You know, it might not work for you at all. You might need to be around that. Like I said, Bible study and chill. So I just think about that. Just think about it, because you want to identify your tribe. You know, you will vibe with your tribe, but identify the people you're supposed to be around. And in order to do that, you have to identify your life. And first, if you not around, if you around a group of people and it's not really benefiting you in any way, you're not finding relationships you want, and you might not have any joy in it, you need to get out of it. Because this is bigger than just women. You need to find where you belong, your spot. Because once you find your spot, once you find what you're supposed to be doing and the people you're supposed to really be around, it's bigger than the women. You will also find a certain level of success in life. And that's very important. You will find once you get around that type of person, it's like boom. You know? So, anyway, right? That's it for today. I'll talk to you later. Peace.